On Earth, there are various ecosystems that many species, including our own, depend on for resources such as food, water, and shelter. One of the most unique and iconic ecosystems on our planet is the vast bamboo forests of China, which are home to one of the most well-known flagship species in the world, the giant panda. Giant pandas, one of the most well-known, cute, and cuddly flagship species in the world, are generally associated with conservation efforts as the icon for the WWF, or the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And movies such as Kung Fu Panda series, which showcase different species in China and how important it is to protect them in their habitats. With an average lifespan of 20 years in the wild, giant pandas live in the misty, rainy mountains of southwestern China. Although they are omnivores, 99% of their diet consists of bamboo shoots and leaves, which is definitely different from noodles and dumplings.
The giant panda is more than a symbol of conservation or a cinematic icon. It is a keystone species, one whose presence shapes the health and stability of an entire ecosystem. Giant pandas play a vital and active role in the maintenance of the bamboo forests that they all call home. They contribute to the natural pruning of bamboo stands, which prevents excessive overgrowth and encourages the regeneration of fresh shoots, which benefits both the plants themselves and other herbivores in the ecosystem. Their movement across the environment is also a key method of seed dispersal and nutrient cycling throughout the grove. As they travel between habitats in search of food and shelter for their young, they create natural corridors between bamboo patches, creating key migration routes throughout the wilderness. During the panda's very short spring mating season, male pandas compete for females, and cubs are born in the late summer. These young offspring are extremely vulnerable in the wild and are almost entirely dependent on their mothers for nutrients, warmth, and protection from predators. In the wild, pandas raise only one cub at a time, which leads to an extremely slow and fragile population recovery rate.
Giant pandas typically spend around 12 hours a day eating up to 15% of their body weight, with adult females weighing around 200 pounds. In addition to this, pandas are extremely timid species and have extreme difficulty coexisting with humans in their habitat. As such, great pandas require large swaths of untouched forest to eat and run freely. However, over the years, there has been an increasing risk of giant pandas losing their habitats as economic and infrastructural development in China's mainland continues to advance. Many ecosystems, including bamboo forests, have been experiencing rapid and exponential deforestation, leading to problems such as soil erosion, increasing flooding, loss of wildlife habitats, and loss of forest cover. As such, giant pandas have been labeled as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List.
As China's economic growth has exploded over the last century, the development of transportation infrastructure and agricultural facilities have fragmented large portions of the forest of Sichuan, Shaanxi, and Gansu provinces. This fragmentation has severely shrunk the pandas' range and isolated populations from one another. These patches of suitable habitat are often too small to support stable populations of pandas, and the bamboo that the species relies on, despite being hardy and fast-growing, is vulnerable to cyclical die-offs, a process in which a mass number of bamboo groves flower simultaneously and then die, leaving entire regions of the forest barren of food if pandas cannot disperse seeds and migrate to other stands. Climate change has also complicated this already threatening dynamic. Warming temperatures and shifting precipitation patterns push food sources higher in altitude in many places that pandas cannot access. Although poaching is now a rare instance due to the strict governmental protections that have taken place, pandas were once hunted in large numbers for their pelts and cultural significance. Today, indirect threats like disease, human encroachment, and poor tourism practices still place massive amounts of stress on the delicate processes that maintain balance within the species.
Bamboo forests aren't only used by pandas for habitat space, but are also crucial parts for China's ecosystem. They excel at absorbing wastewater from agricultural, industrial, and residential areas, which protects the surrounding soil from harmful contaminants like phosphorus and nitrogen. In addition to this, bamboo forests are effective carbon sinks and reduce harmful emissions from our atmosphere, which in turn helps prevent rising global temperatures. It is important to realize that deforestation of bamboo around the country does not only affect the habitats of wildlife, but also the Earth's ability to resist ecological disturbances and protects all species, including humans, from long-term environmental degradation.
In response to the rapid loss of bamboo forests across China, two methods of succession have emerged: reforestation and afforestation. Reforestation involves the restoration of degraded areas by planting trees where forests once stood. In provinces like Guangdong, reforestation programs spanning decades of effort and analysis take root. Analysts and scientists assess multiple forest types, from bamboo-dominated to mixed-use production forests, and measure how reforestation efforts influence carbon storage and ecosystem resiliency and stability. By studying the layers of bamboo forests, from the upper canopy to the decomposing plant matter that litters the ground, researchers can evaluate the health and productivity of reforested areas by analyzing biomass, wood density, and carbon content to better understand how much carbon and wastewater are captured and how to further optimize future efforts. And their findings are encouraging. Since 1990, some reforested plots have reported a 30% increase in overall carbon sequestration. Reforestation efforts don't just replace lost bamboo, but actively participate in the fight against climate change. On the other hand, afforestation increases forest coverage by planting bamboo in previously treeless areas. Through this method, China has increased its bamboo coverage by over 51% since the 1970s. These newly planted forests quickly become living infrastructure and vital support for ecosystem function. Bamboo is resilient, grows rapidly, thrives in poor soils, and requires relatively few resources to maintain. Its dense root system stabilizes soil and prevents erosion, especially in areas that are typically vulnerable to flooding and landslides. Additionally, in regions threatened by desertification, bamboo serves as a barrier from sandy, dry soils, restoring moisture and protecting agricultural land from further degradation. Of course, economic considerations must be taken into account as well. Some experts criticize the cost-effectiveness of reforestation at a national level, but studies have shown that reforestation efforts not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also have long-term economic benefits. Projects like China's Grain to Green program from 2000 demonstrate this idea by transforming degraded farmland into healthy bamboo forests, which provide economic incentives by protecting watershed quality, reducing flood damage, and fixing both soil erosion and nutrient runoff to increase agro-ecosystem functioning. Additionally, the life cycle of bamboo allows for repeated harvesting without killing the plant itself, offering a renewable resource for sustainable development and utilization in products as simple as high heels and fishing rods, and as complex as construction materials, textiles, and bioenergy sources. It is in this reforestation effort that we find the rare intersection between natural conservation and economic development. Local communities can benefit from ecotourism of the rare and region-specific plant and the wildlife that inhabits its mystical forests, while bamboo-based industries can still make a profit from this renewable resource, all without compromising the integrity of the forest itself. Reforestation and afforestation efforts are more than just support for soil and agriculture or renewable cash cows for green thumb corporations. They are newly formed dynamic ecosystems that welcome back the birds, insects, mammals, and amphibians who have long been pushed out of their primordial homes. For our friend the giant panda, these efforts mean something far more profound than an increased profit margin or salvaged crop field. New bamboo forests vastly expand the boundaries of their world. They provide safe corridors that connect fragmented metapopulations, provide an increased access to food, and strengthen genetic diversity and long-term survival of the species. In conclusion, if we want to save our cute and fluffy friends, we must save the tall and leafy plants that stand by their side. Through reforestation, afforestation, and a sustainable, stewardship-focused land ethic, we have the power to restore balance and protect not only a species, but the ecosystem that nourishes all life, including our own.